Okay, so bear with me because I'm going to try and videotape this and do it at the same time myself. So if it sucks, I'm sorry. Anyway, I already have my top for the dress cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and measure. And when I measure, I make sure I have the sleeves overlapped so that I'm taking into account the seam allowance and everything. And I'm just going to measure down, and I see that it's like, I'm just going to call it 16, because once we get the seam allowance in there, it will be. And I know I want my dress to be 24 inches long. So that means that my skirt needs to be 8 inches long. We're going to say 8.5. Actually, I'll probably just cut it at 9 to take into account seam allowances and serging the edge. So I want my skirt to be 9 inches long. Now, if you need to write that down someplace, you can. I just usually remember it. But here, I'll jot it down. 9 inches. Sorry if that made you dizzy. Anyway, now you need to measure the bottom of your bodice from one side to the other. And this is not sewn together yet, so we're going to have to take that into account, and I'll tell you how to do that. So, the bottom width of my bodice is 12.5 inches. And then you double that to get the circumference of it, and it's 25. Then I'm going to take off 2 inches. You're taking off 2 inches to account for the seam allowances and also for the extra stretch of the knit. And when you cut it, it ends up drooping, and I just pretty much take 2 inches off across the board no matter how big it was, unless I'm doing like a doll skirt or something, obviously. Then it needs to be smaller. So I'm going to take my 25, which was my circumference of the bodice of my skirt, and take the 2 inches off to account for the seam allowances and everything, which gives me 23 inches. So normally I just pick up my phone and use my calculator, but since I'm videoing for you on my phone, I'm going to come over here to my computer, and I'm going to put in my 23 inches, and then you're going to divide it, and you're going to want to write this number down. You're going to divide it by 6.28 every time you do it. 6.28. That's, I could tell you the formula and all that, and I'm not going to, because there's really, you don't need to know it. You just need to know that you're going to divide your bodice circumference minus 2 inches by 6.28. That gives me 3.662 blah 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 blah. So I'm going to say like 3 3/4 inches. So then I'm going to go back over here. That means I need 9 inches for my skirt and 3 3/4 inches for the waist. So that's what I'm going to cut out. So that means that my fabric that I have folded over here in a square already, and you'll see this is already folded, so I've got 4 layers here. It's one piece folded, and we're going to start at this corner. And I need to have at least 12 3/4 inches. Ooh, looks like it's going to be super close. Yeah, I'm not there, so I'm going to have to refold. Okay, so I'm going to put you down for just a second and refold.